Hello there, and glad to have you join us on this week's episode of Energy and You. As always, the program highlights weekly happenings in Nigeria's energy sector with a focus on the Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited. I'm Egusa Igumbo. On the show today, NNPC Limited addresses key industry challenges and emphasizes the need for adaptability in line with current global realities. Plus, excellence and sustainability of set objectives, top priority for the Corporate Secretariat and Legal Division of NNPC Limited. It's a loaded package today, so sit back as we bring you all the details in a moment. This is Energy and You. Welcome. Let's begin the show with a look at global oil prices and other top energy news from around the world. Oil prices ticked upwards after top exporters Saudi Arabia and Russia said they would stick to extra voluntary oil output cuts until the end of the year. Saudi Arabia confirmed it would continue with its additional voluntary cut of 1 million barrels per day in December to keep output at around 9 million barrels per day, according to a source at the Ministry of Energy. The Saudi decision was in line with analysts' expectations. Russia also announced it would continue its additional voluntary supply cut of 300,000 barrels per day from its crude oil and petroleum product exports until the end of December. ING analysts said in a note that the oil market will be in surplus in the first quarter of next year, which may be enough to convince the Saudis and Russians to continue with cuts. At the start of this week, Brent crude futures rose 55 cents to $85.44 a barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $81.14 a barrel after climbing up 63 cents. And over the weekend, the U.S. House of Representatives passed a bill to bolster sanctions on Iranian oil that would impose measures on foreign ports and refineries that process petroleum exported from Iran if it is signed into law. The Nigerian National Petroleum Company, NNPC Limited, recently participated in the Oil Trading and Logistics Africa Downstream Week held in Lagos. The exposition, dedicated to fostering business policy development and operational relationships within the downstream energy value chain, played host to a diverse assembly of leading energy industry representatives.
The Oil Trading and Logistics OTL Africa Downstream Week is the continent's premier downstream energy event for international organizations, policymakers, regulators, development institutions, operators, service providers, and consumers in the downstream petroleum and energy industry. This year's expo, which focused on the theme Energy, Synergy and New Beginnings, was organized in collaboration with the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Agency, NNPC Limited, and other partners. The event featured strategic conferences, innovative showcases, technological advancement at exhibitions, and networking events, with over 50 speakers addressing various topics during the four-day event. One of the prominent speakers was the Group CEO of NNPC Limited, Mr. Amele Kyari, represented by the Executive Vice President Downstream, Adedapo Segun. Mr. Segun spoke on Africa Fuels, updates, and overview of trends and market development during a panel session.
We are excellently positioned because we have a natural edge as an integrated oil and gas company. We're not exposed to the realities of those entities that are not integrated. And so we're able to perform that role. So far, so good. The regulators are doing everything to ensure that that situation does not occur. The Midstream and Downstream Authority has that role to monitor and drive good behavior of all oil marketers, including ourselves.
At the same panel session, the Managing Director of NNPC Trading, Lawal Sadi, addressed the significant imbalances in downstream infrastructure that is impacting the energy industry post-subsidy removal and the need for investment in depots and storage facilities. He also advocated for marketers to explore innovative solutions and transition to cleaner energy alternatives in line with the global shift.
The reality now that with the deregulation, we have seen massive infrastructure surplus on that side. Today, the large number of depots that we have across the country, typically because of the shrinking in the volume arising because of the removal of the subsidy, so some of those infrastructure are idle. On the other side, on the flip side, the deficits that we are facing in terms of the infrastructure, that's why I call it infrastructural, downstream infrastructure imbalances. There's surplus, there's deficit. With the springing up of the Dangote refineries and other modular refineries that even NNPC is investing, you'll see that we'll have some domestic refining, whereby it will again change the paradigm completely.
In another panel session focusing on petroleum depot and retail operations, the Managing Director of NNPC Retail, Hub Stockman, shared insight on adapting to a deregulated market.
We all realize that when you do deregulation, and when you look at deregulations in other countries, and I was in a couple of countries where that happened, is that it will always have some transition challenges. I've not seen a country where it was smooth, perfect sailing from day one. Especially if it was a regulated market for many decades, it takes a bit of getting used to. Both for the consumers, but also for the industry. We both need to look in how we can work maybe in fronts where we can, from competition laws, to work better together in terms of best practice sharing. But I think also as an industry we need to realize that with deregulation, the future of retail actually got another kickstart.
The exhibition site was also a focal meeting point with executives from the downstream energy sector and visitors taking tours of various exhibition booths for presentations. OTL Africa's focus spans the downstream petroleum supply chain, encompassing refining, trading, shipping, tank storage, logistics, marketing, retail, lubricants, petrochemicals, financial services, and policy.
Team building and fostering knowledge sharing are essential components of creating a collaborative and productive work environment. This year, encouraging personnel development was the focus of the retreat organized by the Corporate Secretariat and Legal Division of NNPC Limited. Participants, including resource persons and staff of the division, had the opportunity to discuss issues around governance, excellence, and sustainability in delivering their tasks. Take a look.
The three-day retreat by the Corporate Secretariat and Legal Division of NNPC Limited had in attendance external legal luminaries at the national and international level, financial experts, medical practitioners, and a host of others. Riding on the theme Corporate Governance, Excellence and Sustainability, the role of the Corporate Secretariat and Legal Division, discussions at the retreat were aimed at capacity building and enhancing work-life balance. NNPC Group CEO Mele Kyari was represented virtually by the Executive Vice President Upstream NNPC Limited, Mrs. Orishemeyiwa Eyeson. The GCEO observed that in line with the current demand from stakeholders to become more profitable, the Directorate needs to utilize the opportunity offered by the retreat to facilitate sustainable business practices through responsible sourcing, efficient supply chain management, and timely delivery of goods and services.
Your professional expertise in ensuring that negotiations are done effectively, agreements protect value for company, and ongoing litigations are well managed is crucial to our license to operate as well as our sustainability. We must safeguard our assets, prevent value loss, and promote ethical behavior in all of our dealings on behalf of NNPC Limited.
Mrs. Eyeson noted the division's continuous provision of strategic advisory for the company and its legal framework, which has consistently ensured the company's compliance with CAMA rules as a limited liability company. Mr. Chidi Moma, General Counsel and Company Secretary, NNPC Limited, described the retreat as a platform to learn from experts, advance skills, and engender a camaraderie among lawyers in the company. He recognized that the industry is subject to a complex and ever-evolving regulatory environment that calls for the meticulous interpretation of laws and regulations to do things right.
The cybersecurity threats are becoming more sophisticated. The protection of our data and infrastructure from cyber attacks is a challenge. We are going to be faced with all manners of attacks. We cannot continue to be analog in our approach. Okay, things are developing fast. You don't see huge physical law libraries anymore. Everything is online. So you need to try and keep up to date as lawyers with the changes that are going on. So there are two aspects. One is educating yourself on how to use these technologies. The second one is educating yourself on how the laws surrounding it, because you will need to advise on it.
Best practices in business restructuring, mergers and acquisitions, conversion and beyond, as well as sustainable development and ESG imperatives for the oil and gas industry were part of topics discussed at the retreat.
You are the gatekeepers to legal attacks on the company. You are the protectors when legal attacks actually happen. You are risk managers before and after problems arise. And you are politicians when it comes to handling sensitive matters and reporting to the board and the heads of your departments. To achieve this aim, you need many things to align. You need proactive leadership. You need trust between the teams, internal and external. Involvement at all levels. It's not just a case of once it's outsourced, that's it. The lawyers will come back and report when everything is done and dusted. You need to have that robust debate.
A chat with participants after the retreat highlighted the significance of the 3-day capacity building exercise.
The benefits are immeasurable in terms of team building, fostering the spirit of camaraderie, as well as building long-lasting relationships. What I will enjoin others is to make sure that this initiative does not peter out, and we continue to do this every now and again.
We had some foreign firms, some of our partners that had worked with NNPC over the years. And one take home for me is that some of the experiences we have on the job with other team members that are not lawyers, it's good to see that it's a general thing. It's not peculiar to NNPC, because sometimes we struggle to let our internal clients understand where we're coming from. So it's good to know that it's not peculiar to the organization I represent, and then we've been given some mechanisms on how to handle it. It's about building trust.
I've learned from this retreat that one, teamwork is very important, and secondly, there's need for us to be excellent in whatever we do. And then there was also emphasis of sustainability.
There is no doubt that the retreat has offered staff of the Corporate Secretariat and Legal Division of NNPC Limited the needed opportunity to leverage on global best practices as it continually supports the aspirations of NNPC Limited in delivering on expected standard for global services.
NNPC Limited is still on course in the fight against oil theft. The company's unrelenting effort has led to the arrest of more pipeline vandals across the country. Here is the week's progress report.
Across the Niger Delta, the war on crude oil theft is on, and the industry-wide security collaboration continues to record remarkable progress. In the past week, 227 incidences were recorded across the Niger Delta. In Bayelsa, Delta, Imo, Abia, and Rivers State, oil theft-related incidents were recorded between the 28th of October and the 3rd of November 2023. 47 illegal connections were discovered this week in Rivers, Ohaji Egbema in Imo State, Obudubudu in Delta, Ozako in Abia State, and Olodiama in Bayelsa State. 66 illegal refineries were discovered and destroyed in the past week in Ahoda, Ibudaya, Obakri, Oshie, Oyibo, and Ahoda in Rivers State. Here, we get an aerial view of this illegal refining site in Owaza, Abia State. Illegal refining sites were also uncovered in Delta State. In the past week, 30 vehicles conveying stolen crude and illegally refined products were apprehended in several locations in Delta State. In this vehicle, arrested in Bomadi, Delta State, the boot is filled with several containers filled with illegally refined products. On water, boats conveying stolen crude were apprehended across several locations in Delta State. The past week, 36 boats were arrested and confiscated. In Obodo Omadino in Delta State, oil spurts from a vandalized wellhead into the water. 9 illegal storage sites were discovered in Oporomo in Bayelsa State, Ahoda and Abua in Rivers State. Between the 28th of October and 3rd of November 2023, 27 suspects were arrested across the Niger Delta. 17 of these incidents took place in the deep blue water, 70 in the western region, 82 in the eastern region, and 58 in the central region of the Niger Delta. For NNPC Limited, there is no backing down on the war on crude oil theft until the menace is eradicated for good.
Still ahead, voices from the streets on safety and the dangers of scooping inflammable petroleum products from falling trucks. Stay with us.
What do we do at NNPC? Since inception as the national oil company of Nigeria, our mandate has been to serve the nation and meeting the energy needs of over 200 million people. Over the years, we have invested in tomorrow's leaders and contributed to the development of communities across the nation. We have grown a network of over 500 service stations. We are the driving force behind the constantly growing Nigerian economy. With an efficient distribution network servicing all parts of the country, we ensure the highest quality standards in our crude refining processes. Nigeria boasts of immense oil and gas reserves which we explore in commercial quantities, providing endless opportunities for economic development. As we drilled for oil, we discovered vast amounts of gas, up to 200 trillion scoop. By harnessing gas, we have reduced gas flaring and invested in liquefaction plants, shipping gas across the globe. Our energy footprint is remarkable. We supply gas to the domestic market for power generation, reaching all across Nigeria. Powering everything, anywhere, and everywhere. NNPC, energy for today, energy for tomorrow.
You're still watching Energy and You. Now, scooping fuel from fallen trucks and vandalized pipelines have become regular occurrences in communities and towns in Nigeria. It's a dangerous act that has often led to secondary incidents which claimed lives and damaged communities and their environments. On the feedback segment today, Energy and you went to the streets to gauge people's awareness on the dangers of engaging in this dreadful act. Take a look.
That's a criminal act. You know, when you see as a citizen, as a person, when you see such things, you're supposed to report to the police or report such emergencies. It's actually a danger.
If you don't die, you might have bonds that will be permanent for life. So those are the major dangers that I'm aware of.
It is dangerous to life, and anything can happen. You can lose your life by that. So what you gain from it is not comparable to losing your life. So I think we should desist from it.
Number one, they are stealing. You are stealing something that is not yours. And then number two, there can be any small slight fire and everywhere will just blow up, and then you lose your life over fuel that you want to just carry. Health is wealth though. It's somebody that is alive that will make money. So it's better to just avoid such places so that all these personnel, all these people, they know how to do it, they know what to do, they know how to pack the fuel without it endangering anybody's life.
My own opinion is just like to stay away from like anything like that. At least if there should be any involvement, it should be like to save the life of people, like the passengers or the driver itself, something like that. If not, staying away from it is the best option.
The dangers of scooping or inhaling fuel into the body from falling tankers can lead to altered vision, drowsiness. It can lead to memory loss, insomnia. It can lead to a lot of health challenges.
BGP, an arm of the China National Petroleum Corporation, held its 11th Technical Seminar 2023 in the month of October in China. Speakers from major IOCs and NOCs were in attendance to share their leading technologies in the geophysical industry. The MD of NNPC Energy Services Limited, Sophia Umbakwe, and the Executive Director of Frontier Exploration Services, Mukhtar Zana, were there to represent NNPC Limited. The seminar served as a unique platform for close-knit collaboration of geophysical peers to share technological advancement across the industry and exchange valuable and actionable insights into the latest industry practices and review case studies. In a partnership spanning over a decade, NNPC and SEB, in collaboration with BGP, have successfully provided geophysical solutions and a wide spectrum of specialized services to clients in the Nigerian oil and gas ecosystem. Here are some highlights from the event. And that's how we wrap up the show today. If you missed any part of it or previous episodes, you can catch up by scanning the QR code on your screen now. You can also follow us on all our social media handles showing on your screen to get updates of events in Nigeria's energy sector and other activities of NNPC Limited. Thanks for watching. I'm Egusa Igumbo. See you again.